Hello everybody, Blade55555 here, and today I'm presenting to you a two-town center guide with Abbasid Dynasty. This video is going to be me versus Doubt on French Pass, Abbasid versus the Rus. It's actually a matchup I'm very confident in when playing as Abbasid. I feel like they have a very good counter to the Rus fast castle strategy. The cheaper villagers, the really good economy just really helps in that. Unfortunately, I don't have any other replays against Rus to showcase this. I only have this one because obviously you can't go back far enough to view other replays. But this is a good one regardless. This is how I play the matchup, and I'm going to go over my thought process and everything. So with that, let's begin. So we're going to start this game off, and this is what I do most games on most maps, is I make a second scout first. The reason being is sheep are very random sometimes on maps where it can be difficult to find them. And I can't tell you how many times where I've done one scout, barely find any sheep, but then when I have the second scout, I find sheep I wouldn't have found if I stuck to one scout. So that's why I do that. You don't have to do this, but this is something I've kind of preferred more and more with almost every civilization in the game. And so the way this build order is going to work is I'm going to do 8 food, 3 gold, make a lumber mill, and go to wood, obviously. Then we make the House of, I always forget the name of it, but the House of Wisdom. And then obviously you advance once you can. The way this is, the overall build order is, it's a 2 TC build. So I'm going to build my second TC here because we secure our berries and a second wood line, which just makes things easier to do. In this matchup specifically, especially against the fast castle build order, I really recommend going to Town Center. Thanks to the cheap villager tech with Abbasid, you can get 2 villagers for the price of 1, and that really adds up really quickly. Like you'll notice how much food you get, just in excess of food, and then with wood you can just make a ton of archer spears, which is kind of the main composition you want to go for. And then you want to build siege on top of that, but of course you want to adapt to what your opponent is doing. With archers and spears, the reason why you want to use that composition is obviously horse archers. You can actually get enough archers as Abbasid to kill the horse archers, and then you need the spears in case of, the mass scouts, or if they do a night transition. Going just archers is very risky, and a good player will adapt to that by making a counter. Another thing that's useful with the spears is if they do make mangonels and you haven't made siege yet, you can just dive the mangonel a lot of the time and kill it. In this game in particular, Doubt does do a fast castle build, and then he does do something a little different than most Ruses. He doesn't stick to castle for very long. So while this is a good example of beating Rus at it, this is also, like I said, he does play a little differently by going to faster Imperial. That being said, we're going to get this. And I might fast forward just a little bit because right now it's just kind of looking for sheep. In this game in particular, I actually don't get too much sheep even though I made 2 scouts. So as an example, this may look like it didn't do much, but it's just kind of the luck of the draw. Sometimes you don't get sheep even with 2 scouts, but you have a better chance than without it in my experience. And in this matchup specifically, we can see that we have 2 relics, one here on our side, he has 2 on his side, and then there's the one in the middle. You just have to accept in this matchup, and most matchups versus Rus, that you're not going to be able to deny most of the relics. These 3, he's guaranteed to get. What you can do to stop relics like these is you can just wall, if you wall early enough. The danger, though, of walling on maps like this against Rus is Rus players usually make a lot of scouts. If they see that villager's dead. Animation canceling or not, that villager's going to die. You're not going to finish the wall, and then you wasted some wood. So it's can be kind of annoying without using spears. Because as we can see here, he has 4 scouts. And in this game, I do try to wall here and here to try to deny 2 relics. You could also try to wall this with a little square motion with the palisade walls. I'm seeing a lot of players doing that. I haven't personally done it yet, but I do think it is worth doing because if you can deny relics, even it does make a difference. Instead of 500 gold a minute, they could have 200 gold a minute if I was to say able to wall this and this successfully. And then if I walled this into a little nice little tight square. You're never going to deny this one or this one, and you wouldn't deny this one for long. He just uses scouts to burn down the wooden wall, but I do think it is kind of worth in delaying the relic gathering. So in this game, you see he's trying to harass my villagers on stone. It's not a big deal. And I guess to go over a little bit more about the build order for the second TC is what you're going to do is you're going to rally villagers to wood, obviously, until you get 6, usually. And then you're going to pull all your villagers off of food, put them on stone, and rally this to food. All these villagers right here are actually from the town center after I pulled them all from food. You should have about 3 villagers queued in here by the time you pull all your villagers from food and put them on stone. Once you get 300 stone, you go to wood, which you can see I'm doing. We have 11 on wood as we wait to get the amount of wood to make the town center right here, which is what we're going to do right now. And then he's just using professional scouts to grab my deer. Again, there's not really too much you can do about this, especially when doing 2 TC play. Like, if I was doing 1 TC play, I could have gone double range and just camped this spot and prevented him from stealing my deer. But I don't think that's the proper way to play this matchup. I think a Roost player would be very happy to see you delaying a second TC that long just to deny a pack of deer. Because you're going to be hurting economically from it. And then while you're advancing, I keep 1 or 2 villagers on gold, usually 1, and then I add a second one later on. And then we get this fresh foodstuffs with the economic wing immediately. You should almost always age with the economic wing, I think, almost no matter what strategy you're doing. Just because you get this upgrade to get the cheaper villagers. It seriously makes your pushes a lot stronger because your food, it may not sound like much, you're only saving 25 food per town center. But if you think about it, that's 50 food per cycle, and adds up quite a bit. And then as you can see, I kind of focus on food after getting these town centers done. And what we're going to do is I'm going to start focusing on wood a bit and then gold. You do still want to get castle at a decent time. You don't want to stay feudal too long. Otherwise, siege will just absolutely destroy you. So you do want to, get some on wood because you want to make production buildings, houses, production, a blacksmith, all that stuff. So you still want to rally some to wood. You probably want to get about 10 or so to wood and then start transitioning to gold because you still want to get castle at a good time. Now, as we can see here, I am using a villager to try to wall this. Again, it's very risky. I saw his scouts go this way, so my thought process here was I'm hoping that he's going to use all his scouts to gather this deer pack next, which he does not see this, or to get this deer pack. And that's also my reasoning for walling this section as well, as I'm hoping his scouts aren't going to come this way because he's so focused on, getting his deer. And then he does grab, I think he grabs all but 1 hunt from here. I think there's literally 1 hunt, that's it, that he kind of doesn't grab. And I get a little lucky because the scout actually saw these 2 villagers moving, but I don't think he realized it, so he didn't do anything. And then here's his 6 scouts. We're trying to wall. And so the trick I did here is, as you'll notice, they're all kind of pre-built. This stops him from just walking in. You can just kind of right-click 1 villager, and you see him doing it here as well. You just right-click this section and keep going. If I had done a second villager here, which I should have done, I actually could have gotten this fully walled and been fine. Since I did this trick, though, you'll notice it has low health. He was able to burn it down, quickly, kill the villager, and deny this wall. But I do get this wall down. Walling is pretty important against roosts because of horse archers. You don't want to be, if you can wall, you want to, at least so that horse archers just can't run in and snipe your villagers. It can be a very strong tactic by a Roost player, because again, this town center only holds 10, and we have 20 villagers right here. Yeah, we can get 10 in here and run with the other 10, but he's going to get 4 to 5, 6 kills probably, if he does a good amount of horse archers and redirects their fire. It typically takes 4 horse archers one-shot a villager. I'm not sure how much with textiles, though. As we can see here, we're starting to gather gold. This could have gone a little sooner, honestly. I have 18 on wood. I could have gone for 12 on wood and had more on gold, and I could have been advancing by now while adding my production. As we do see, Doubt is on the castle age now. He's going to be grabbing relics. We are walled here, so we get to deny this relic at least. And then this villager is I'm trying to sneak him around to wall again. Uh, Spoiler alert, this doesn't work, and I abandon this plan very quickly. And then as you can see, we're starting to add in our production, blacksmith, archery ranges. You don't have to rush these out immediately once you get to feudal age because, again, the Roost players usually go in fast castle. And you should scout that, and I did scout that. I did make sure that he was doing a fast castle. I didn't see any units when scouting with this, so I knew he was still doing the typical fast castle stuff. So now, as you see, we had 4 ranges. We're starting to make units. We have an excess of food, and we have plenty of wood. So there's no reason to save our food. Villagers are cheap, so we can start adding to our archer production. And then we're going to be advancing here shortly, as you see, about right now. And then we see he's grabbing the rest of his hunt. He's got his horse archers out. Right now he has map control. He's going to be taking the relics. Again, you just kind of have to accept there's nothing you can do about this. Now, one thing you do want to do is you still want to rally a good amount of villagers to gold. I think anywhere from 14 to 16 is probably a good number. And then you want to add more to wood. And the reason why you put so much on gold is not just for upgrades, but also so you can build siege. Siege is very important, especially against roosts. Making a couple mangonels can be the difference between maybe winning a fight and crushing a fight. And then I always advance with the culture wing and get this upgrade, the preservation of knowledge. This gives you a 30% decrease on all technologies, and it's actually a pretty big deal. To give you perspective, if it gets to Imperial Age, instead of costing 700 gold to advance to Elite, it's 491 gold. That's it's 109 gold savings across 3 different upgrades. That's over 300 gold. That's another mangonel right there, just so you know. Mangonels are 200 gold, so it's actually almost 2 mangonels. And then as we're advancing, so you're going to see we stop putting villagers on gold, and we're going to go more to wood. This is a very wood-heavy build, because you're going to be not only having 4 archery ranges, but you want to have probably 3 to 4 barracks as well. And you want to get both upgrades. You want to get the phalanx. I'm going to say these names wrong, so feel free to rip me in the comments for it. And what that does is just makes your spearmen a lot stronger, because it increases the attack range of spears. Very useful against cavalry, by the way. And then you just see we're just adding. The first upgrades I get in the blacksmith are always ranged attack, and then I get ranged armor. Against roosts. Against roosts because, they're going horse archers. In general, I would go for range attack almost always, unless for some reason I'm not going archers or something. And then as you can see, we walled these sections off here. This was, again, so that he can't do horse archer run-bys and destroy our economy. And then we're just moving to berries, pumping units out, and just kind of trying to build our army. At this point, he's grabbed 4 relics, as we can see. It's gone, not there, and vanished. So there's 4 relics to the Roost player. Not optimal, but it's better than all 5. So it's just how it goes sometimes. And again, it's something you have to accept. He's going to get control of the sacred sites too. You don't want to fight these too early. If you try to move out too early to deny this, you have a very real possibility of just losing the game and losing this mass. Roost is very powerful in this stage, and they can make a lot of units, so you need to be a bit patient. It's going to take him a while before he can build like castles or anything, so you don't have to worry about that. But you just have to accept they are going to control the sacred sites for at least a couple minutes. But as you can see, we're pumping out archers still. We're pumping out spears. We have all our upgrades. And then he's doing a bit of damage here. We just use our archer group to deny this. And then shortly, we are going to move out and remove the sacred sites. Because you still want to deny these, right? This is 200 gold a minute. Besides the victory, you don't want to let them get 200 gold a minute for too long. Now in this game, you'll notice right here, we notice that he's going Imperial. Scouting this out and a Siege Workshop, obviously since I scouted it so late, I couldn't deny this. And so what I end up doing is building another wall and keep massing units here. Now, Fast Imperial can be scary, but you do have to realize that he can't afford a lot of upgrades or anything, right? Fast Imperial is an expensive thing. It's 1,200 gold. So, you don't have to worry about it. Now we're denying this because we see he has all his army and stuff over here. We're going to deny the sacred sites. And we're going to counterattack. Now the reason why I'm not counterattacking this is I'm not going to break this. This landmark shoots cannons, arrows, and is just very, very powerful. He's also building a wooden fortress and a siege workshop. Like, just trying to push this is pretty risky. So my thought process here was, let's use a couple units to deny the sacred sites and let's counterattack. His army's over here. We have 2 town centers. We have production, so I'm putting my production here so that we can make siege and defend against his attack when we counter. I know he's not going to have any units here, or very few, because he's rallying them this way. And so we're going to ram push him, to try to kill all his production, kill his economy, force him into an all-in where he has to pretty much kill my landmarks or lose the game. And as we can see, he has a bombard. And yeah, there's just no pushing this. It's just very, very suicidal. And so in this case, this was, I think, the best scenario for me. Make a few rams, counterattack, and just that's my thought process here. I also have stones, so I'm making a keep. This isn't meant to really hold him back necessarily. It's just to buy time, because now we can't run horse archers, say, here and kill all this economy. That keep will kill the horse archers if he tries that. And then as you can see here, we kill a lot of villagers. As, again, he has no army here, so he doesn't really have much of a defense. He didn't see it coming because he's pushing from this angle. He does kill my second TC, kills a few villagers. And as you can see, we're still rallying here. What my goal is to get as many units here as possible to defend so that he can't destroy my landmarks. Because as we all know, bombards very strong against buildings. 2 shots takes out, 3 shots took out 1,600 health. So over here, we're still harassing, killing villagers, destroying his production. I focus on this and this because those are where his relics are, and I want to deny his gold income. It makes it harder for him to afford bombard cannons if you have no gold. We're trying to repair again, just to buy time. At this point, we're just trying to buy time. I make a mangonel here, and I actually think this was a mistake. This was such a useless waste of resources. I could have made 2 springolds almost instead of this, and this just dies to his bombards. So that was kind of one of my mistakes this game, was making a mangonel instead of 2 springolds. And again, now he has 3 bombards. But now look how his reinforcements aren't coming, so his horse archer mass is actually really small, because he's trying to defend at home. He's got his own mangonel, he's got horse archers, he's going to lose this, and then we dive with our spears to destroy his mangonel. And then here he starts going for he's trying to go for the landmark victory now. This is kind of the weakness of Abbasids, right? Is you only have 2 landmarks. And they're always next to each other. They're very rarely not, because you want this so you can get your golden bonus. I forget what the name is, the golden tier bonus, so that you can get faster resource gathering. But this is why we've been sending our units here, so we can deny this. We end up killing 2 bombards, which is really big. Like, that's huge. It's not like he has a huge economy. We're killing his economy. We destroyed his siege tower, or siege workshop. I'm gonna deny the last of his free gold. And we're just going to keep massing here. And now we're making springolds so we can fire at the bombards if he tries to attack again. Another mistake I do make here is I don't think I repair this, so I think it just burns down, which is a huge mistake. Now, here's the problem going on in this game for me. Right now, things are looking fantastic. We're killing his reinforcements, we're destroying his economy, but I'm not in the clear either. We have pretty much 50 villagers idle right now because we have one deer carcass, no way to gather food, no wood, and all we have for wood right now is these little things right here. Because this is the other downside to him doing this to me. He's denying this wood line because this will destroy me, and his units will just poke in and out. And he's denying, you know, one berry patch, and however many hunts are here. So what we end up doing is we end up trading pretty well here. We kill, I think we trade off pretty evenly. And what we do from here is he's going to kill this army, if I recall. And we're going to notice that we have a ton of units at home though, right? We have 34 archers at home, 8 spearmen, 3 springolds. So it's not like we're not out of this game. Economically, we're not in the best spot. Again, we have 48 idle villagers. And to be fair to this point, I thought I was gathering wood here, but I wasn't. We have 58 idle villagers because now we don't have any food. So while I did a lot of economic damage to him, we're not in the best scenario either economically. Luckily, we have a market and a bunch of gold, so we do buy some resources. And as you see, I'm setting my second wave to go home because I now know he has very few units over here. I killed his army. So now all I have to do is deny his kill any bombards that come, which is what the springolds are great for. He's forced to retreat. We're counterattacking with a second group. We're sending all these villagers over to his side of to gather wood. Because again, this is free. This is very safe for me. We all know his army is very small. I think this is all he has. He might have a few more horse archers, but not much. Again, over here is where most of his stuff is. I destroyed most of his production. And we have a big army, so it's not like he can just run past my army and kill these villagers. We have 9 spears, 36 archers, and so we kind of accommodate his wood line, and we take his berries too. This ends up being pretty crucial for us because we have very low food income. We're running out of gold. We do still have units being made though, which is great. So we can still hold this section. If he attacks, we can just send this group to go forth. We're making more rams, and we're going to just, again, we're going to keep trying to destroy. The goal here is just to make sure everything is in this area. That was my goal. We destroy his economy, destroy his town center, all his landmarks here, all his production, and there's not much he can do. He does scout this, though, with a horse archer. Luckily for me, he doesn't have a big enough army to just come here and try to kill them all. And so we end up just building a couple towers, garrisoning them, and which, again, takes care of the 4 horse archer harass. We kill more villagers. He's got 7 horse archers. He's going to try a convert here, but we're not going to let that happen. And then we're going to keep that attack. He does kill some villagers here, but we still have 84 villagers, which is probably... I wouldn't be surprised if we were 50 villagers ahead of Dowd at this point. And then the next thing we do is we do want to get rid of this landmark because getting rid of this landmark stops him from being able to buy and sell resources at a good value. For those who don't know, the Golden Gate gives you can exchange 100 wood for 150 or 100 gold to buy 150 wood, or you can sell 100 wood and get 150 gold, and it will always be that way. There is no tax or penalty for this. And we can see he has 9 ticks, so he could theoretically do 9 trades here. And now we've secured this area, we've secured the berries, we have a decent income, have some idle villagers, a bunch of gold, and again, we want to keep units here. Again, because he still has a siege workshop. He could go for a landmark snipe. And very shortly, I'll show you a decision that if I hadn't made this, I think I would have lost the game. Which I know, you're probably, for those watching, you're seeing this and you're going like, what? How did you almost lose the game? I'll definitely be explaining that here shortly. Because he's going to get a mangonel out here, right there. And so we're forced to kind of retreat because he has enough units to where I don't have enough spears to take out his mangonel. And we only have 13 archers. So as we can see what I'm doing, I'm sending a second wave of reinforcements, and I was going to send these 3 springolds all the way to this base so we could just snipe them, snipe the mangonel. In a moment here, you're going to see where I realize this is a dumb idea, and I actually pull these back. Because I'm like, wait a second, he has a siege workshop, he has bombards, he can go landmark snipe. So I actually send these 3 back, and I build springolds right here, because I realized I had the resources for it. Why waste resources, or why waste time waiting for these to get here, when I can keep these here to protect me, rally reinforcements back here, again, to protect, and then we have our own springolds to take care of his mangonel. And then we did repair the rams, and we destroyed this with the springolds we made. That was his only defense. And then very shortly here, we're going to start re-rallying units here because we know he's going to be forced to do one kind of final attack. Bombards do a lot of damage to buildings, so it is always something to be aware of. But at this point, this base is gone. He has like no chance of holding now. The springolds will kill any mangonels. His horse archers don't even have any. I don't think they have any blacksmith upgrades. But then maybe it just doesn't show here. But I don't think I saw a blacksmith in here at all. Oh no, he does. He has the attack upgrade. Okay, that's what he has. He has both attack, but he does not have the imperial upgrade. And so destroying this, again, no more siege we have to worry about. We're still rallying units. You'll notice our whole economy is pretty much out of our base at this point. And then now we're realizing that there's only one way we lose this game, is if he destroys our landmarks. We did repair this a little bit. We should have fully repaired this, because as you're going to see here, Doubt is going to try to destroy all my landmarks. And we have 4 springolds, or about to be. And he brought villagers to repair. So this is how I almost could have lost the game. Imagine if I had sent these home. If I sent them here, I right now would have 1 springold against 3 bombards with villagers that can heal and 1 landmark. As you can see, this is going down pretty quickly. It's already at 8,900 health. I realize this and send the units I have to immediately go attack these villagers. He has 6 villagers. You kill the villagers, I kill these easily. Just so you're aware, I'll keep this highlighted as we see how far it's fallen. It's already below half health. But we're able to kill the villagers to where he only has 2 now. So we can't, 3 now, sorry. And we're still sniping them. He gets us down to, you know, 4,000 HP before I'm able to over DPS him and we win the game here. And this is pretty much how I play against Rus. Obviously, you don't typically send your whole economy to the other side, but that is what I would recommend for the matchup. And if he had stayed Castle Age, this game would have been a far more springold and mangonel heavy. Mainly mangonels with a few springolds, and then archer spears. So thanks again everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I do have a written portion of this as well, which is in the description of the video. So feel free to click on that if you prefer reading it. I do stream almost every day at twitch.tv/blade and 55s. So thanks for watching and hope to see you on the next one.